Musicians are responsible.
How do you what?
And it really reiterated that fact that this is our ministry. And before we get into anything, this brief quote is one that's really big in our household. It's how we operate as a family. We also look at gentrification. So gentrification, it starts to look at and address the development of the things in the community, but it didn't address the development of the people. Whether intentional or unintentional, Doug did was it moved in new, more established, more healthy people, and it left the original residents right where they were originally, and that was in the margins of society. Driving economies, of course, in support of this to survive, they have to be able to recycle the funds in the community within the businesses, and they also need to be able to export their goods and services to bring more funds into the economy for that particular local, federal, state, any economy, and that's something that we see not happening in underserved communities as well. And so these are all questions I started to ask myself why it is. And, of course, started to study Stephen R. Covey. He talks about the maturity continuum and discusses how a person has to go along a spectrum, starting from dependent to independent, and then ultimately to interdependence. And that's what we all want to be. And of course, that comes back to that interrelatedness that Dr. King talked about, right? And then when we look at a hierarchy of needs, and we'll really get into that later on as we talk about a transformation, you have initially what is people needing to meet just the basic needs of safety, home, shelter, food. And before they can, and until they satisfy those needs, they can start to think about higher level needs of self-actualization and working together as a collective. And then the last thing that really kind of shaped this ministry that is modern Genesis was scripture. And two particular scriptures one was Matthew 25. And just to paraphrase and just to kind of sum it all up, when Jesus said that what you do to the least of these, you do to me also. And also the book of Nehemiah. And that story is one of my favorite when it comes to, especially in particular, to building. And Nehemiah talks about how he was scared. He was sad. He was pained at the way his city was. He cried out to God. And he couldn't have did that on his own, but because he cried out to God, he repented for what he had did wrong and for what his people had did wrong. He was given every resource, every avenue, every bit of protection and safety that he needed to rebuild the kingdom. And it's also important to note that he didn't rebuild it alone. There was a collective that had to rebuild the city of Jerusalem and those walls and stand together. And so that's what shapes us up. And so who are we? Essentially, we're a real estate services firm focused on the realization of a modern genesis of urban, underserved neighborhoods by offering access to affordable, quality housing and a path to home ownership, while creating employment and entrepreneurship opportunities through our unique community transformation model, which really falls right in line with our mission. And our mission, of course, is to help foster a new creation, a modern genesis that transforms underserved neighborhoods back into communities of connectedness. We will use real estate as a vehicle to provide opportunities for good paying jobs and entrepreneurship, offer affordable quality health housing, help individuals realize the full potential of life, and encourage the giving of oneself through service. And what does this look like when it's all said and done, down the line, months and months and months, well, years and years and years, I should say. But the way we look at that is our vision is actually to see men and women from all races, ages, and cultural backgrounds, that mentally unlocked and unleashed to address the holistic needs of one another. And we aim to see these people working together to rebuild communities.
So what we have here is we have a creed, which is a statement of basically what we believe. And also, this will actually address kind of what we believe about the world in its current state and God's redemptive plan for that and how we're participating in that. So I'm going to summarize some of these points so that you can read it on the screen there. The basic fact is that the world is, but there is a city of God or a kingdom of God that is perfect and just. Secondly, we are co-laboring with God to bring or establish his kingdom on earth. And then in offering apprenticeships and job opportunities, we will be providing a way out of poverty and or unemployment. And in transforming residential real estate into affordable and quality housing, we will help alleviate the burden of homelessness or unaffordable housing options, while establishing a sense of ownership and pride, and without displacing the residents that are currently living in our community. So through a web of relationships We will encourage and facilitate holistic growth with the knowledge that need is not one dimensional. Ultimately, we want people to know Christ in whom all need is met in the most sustainable manner. So, at Modern Genesis, we're dissatisfied with the brokenness of the world in which we live. For this reason, we desire to rebuild our city and make a positive impact on our communities through interdependence of individuals, asset-based community development programs, and partnerships between like-minded organizations. We do all of this in the name of our Lord and King, Jesus Christ. With his help and for his glory, we are building a new creation, a modern Genesis on earth today and tomorrow.
And now with all that being said, we have to discuss what we are actually going to do. Okay. So Modern Genesis is a 3-phase program that's going to be implemented over 5 years. And the first phase, which is the most important phase to get started, is our wholesaling phase. So if you look here, we have 5 things on the board, super simple. I'm gonna do a little bit of explanation just so you guys can have an understanding. So in the wholesaling phase, which is phase 1, we're gonna purchase distressed homes at under below market value. And when someone says below market in the real estate industry, what is that? That's 40 to 60 cents on the dollar. And trust me, it sounds insane, but it's possible, and I will explain later. So what do we do with these homes that we're looking for with these distressed sellers? We have to find our investors, and in this investors relationship building. The first 3 months of Modern Justice coming in the summer is complete relationship building, advertising, getting to know the community, making connections in order to be able to continue these next 2 phases. So let me talk about that. Phase 1, relationship building, wholesaling, and coming together as an organization in order to kingdom build, and as we said, create capital in order to continue our next 2 phases. Phase 2 would be these 2 right here: fix and flip, rental, lease options, also transformation, which Logan will speak on in a second. So let me talk about that. Rehab, rent, and lease. In this phase, we're going to begin our transformational communities, which would be the near west side, which would be our main target, which once again I'll explore in a few slides. And during this time, we will create apprenticeship. Through this apprenticeship, we will have through our community, our relationship building. Through phase 1, there's going to be service industries such as carpentry, electricians, painters, construction workers, contract laborers, business leaders, everything from A to Z. And so through this time, what we're going to do is take men and women from the community and create apprenticeship programs in order to help them get jobs or build skills that they're going to need in the real world, which we will get to again. Trust me, this is only the beginning. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. And then going into phase 3 is providing the jobs, creating new business, bringing business in, not having people travel out to jobs, keeping the revenue here and rebuilding this community as a whole, as we talked about in Nehemiah. Let me talk about this, which makes this difference. Most wholesalers, they find property, they just start sending it out to investors. They don't really care. We do reverse wholesaling. This is what makes us different. We find our buyers, we discover their needs, and we acquire that property. So our goal is we are the one-stop shop. We're the easy button that you go and click, you call Modern Genesis, and we take care of it. We do what you don't want to. So although that seems like a lot, I just want to make sure we acknowledge that this is a long process and we don't expect things to be done right away. You can't walk into a community and expect everything to be perfect. God's kingdom, we're on earth. It's not, the world's not perfect. So this is kind of why we do it in the phase. So we don't go above and beyond or do too much at one time. Each phase is as important as the next and as important as the one before it. Going into that, on the business side, I would like to give it over to Logan for the transformational part on the side of it.
So as you can see, we have listed up here some things: community engagement, collective strategy, rent-to-own program, apprenticeship, and holistic approach. I'm just going to parse out some of these things a little bit more fully. So basically, community engagement means we're going to be actively participating in community and building relationships with businesses and individuals in the community. Collective strategy means we don't want to come in and prescribe, I guess, the solutions to our community's problems without actually meeting together with our community and determining those needs and determining what assets they have within the community to address those needs. So we're not going to come in and just say, this is what's wrong, this is how we're going to fix you. We actually want to build the relationships and collectively address some of these things. Rent to own. So basically, there are 2 different options that we're going to have in this rent to own program. One is just a normal rental situation, and the second one is kind of a reduced rent, which will be actually, I guess the process of this reduced rent is that the renter will actually have to participate in community service hours, and there's a set number that we have listed there that they'll have to do, and that will, I think it's 10 service hours, and they will get a reduced rent. And then also, I think Tim actually touched a little bit on the apprenticeship. So basically, we want to allow people from our community to gain valuable job skills and even obtain positions within our company. And essentially, what we want to do is take the outsourced kind of jobs and things that we're using partnerships in the beginning to do the services. We want to bring those jobs in-house. And the apprenticeship program is how we're going to do that, by basically training people in the community to do these jobs that are originally outsourced, and we're going to bring those in-house. So that's part of our strategy. And then a holistic approach is just basically we are going to have partnerships that we will, through those partnerships, we'll seek to develop the whole person. So we have Thrive Covenant Church, we have other partners that we're going to be establishing, and we really want to seek the development of the whole person, not just the economic, not just the spirit, but all of the realms of the person.
So what makes us unique? A couple things. We do it so you don't have to. In short, real estate investors are lazy. They like to make money. They don't like to spend their time on anything else. That's why they invest in real estate. The less work they can do with the more money they can make, the better for them. And one of the most tedious parts of real estate investing, that whole process, is finding properties, because not too many people want to sell their property at 40 to 60 on the dollar. So that work of finding that property, one, is just how we're going to establish ourselves, because they don't do it. So they'll glad to pay us $5,000 to $10,000 to do a property. But there are other wholesalers out there. But what wholesalers do normally is they'll sell you a property. Hey, I got this property. It'll be worth this much afterwards. This is the after repair value. It needs this amount in repairs. Here's a picture or two for it. And this is what I want. That's what they get. So now, those lazy investors will have to go visit the property. They have to go take pictures of their home. They have to go analyze the data. How much is this going to cost in construction costs? How much is that? How much is that? How much is that? And then on top of that, half the information that the other wholesalers gives them is inaccurate. So what we're going to do is a little bit different. Starting with one of our partnerships, when we go out to visit homes, we're actually going to go with Deeds Family Construction, which is one of our partners. He's a general contractor, works on properties all the time. I would love to have him here today, but he's actually at a property doing some rehab work. So he's going to go with us, and he's actually going to help us accurately estimate the cost on every single room. And what we'll do is, when we present our offers or our options to buy to our real estate investors, they'll have detailed work. Not just it's $75,000 in construction costs or rehab costs. They're going to know exactly what that is. They're going to know how much for roofing. They're going to know how much for cabinets. They're going to know how much for the kitchen, for the bathroom, so on and so forth. They're going to have detailed pictures of all the different rooms, inside and outside. They're going to get a video walkthrough of that house. They're also going to get 3 to 5 comps of houses that were sold, comparables of houses that were sold in the last 3 to 6 months within a mile radius of that house. So they'll be able to really crunch their numbers and make an educated decision. What it's also going to do, one, is going to train us for later on. So when we start to fix and flip, it's going to make it so much easier for us to estimate those costs and make sure we don't take losses because we're doing that incorrectly. But then also it's going to expand our customer base, because now not only can we only sell to people who are here, real estate investors who are here in the Chicago market. You can be in Texas and get one of our packages and decide whether or not you want to buy a house. So now our market is just expanding exponentially. So that's one of the ways in which we're going to make ourselves different. They touched on one-stop shop. So instead of so we talked about, let's take Deeds Family Construction. So now they'll get that detailed work, and so not only can we give you these are the estimated costs, we have a partner, a general contractor, who can do the work for you at that estimate. So if you say, well, this is kind of low, we do more than, okay, well, that's because you're overpaying. So now here, Deeds Family Construction can actually do that for you at these costs. And so that it will extend to different services. That'll extend to property management, that'll extend to real estate agents to help sell the properties. roofers, so on and so forth, on and on down the line. That'll all come from different partnerships, and we want to look at our own backyard on the west side first to find those partners to earn their business from different clients. So that's one of the things that we're going to do. Customization options. So when we're rehabbing homes, right, we're going to be looking to sell that house right away. And so when we put an offer on the house, we have a contract, we go to closing. While we're demoing the house, we have a sign out, we're marketing, let you know, hey, we have this house for sale. So someone comes in to buy, be it someone we already have slated for a rent-to-own option, or somebody that comes in that's interested in buying it retail, even before we're finishing construction, they have the ability to come in and say, okay, well, I want this granite and not that granite. I want beige and not purple on my walls. I want these fixtures. I want this lighting. I want this refrigerator, this stove. And they'll be able to do that. That's something that's not normally found on middle of the road houses, more of a higher end type of deal if you're having a house built from the ground up. They can choose everything. For our rentals, a luxury life experience. We've all worked the neighborhood. We all see the condition of the rentals. Some of us have lived them at some point in time. And so we know that the landlords do just enough not to get fined and just enough to keep the property. But we're going to do way much more than that. I have the privilege to live in a neighborhood. So we're going to give that at the same time and truly taking care of experience. Because when people look into create entrepreneurship and opportunity, employment and entrepreneurship opportunity. We talked about that before. Logan also talked about the holistic approach briefly. And then most important, our competition is property building inspired and profit building inspired. We're kingdom building inspired. And that's what sets us apart more than anything.
So I stated before, there we go. I stated before, I said that we would talk about some markets, and here we are. So with Monogenesis, we have to focus on two different target markets. We have investors, and we have people who we buying our home from in the cities we actually be buying them, whether it's revenue generating or transformational. So I want to talk about investors first, considering they're the ones who are giving us money, and they will be helping us, go through each and every phase. So currently, Monogenesis already has 5 investors that we're working with looking to buy homes. Our target goal is to gain 10 to 15 more investors per month. And it does seem like a huge number, but within the industry, trust me, there's many out there who want to spend money, and money is available. So how much money? We're looking for cash buyers with $500,000 to $750,000 in cash assets. So that's money that they're able to hand over, whether it becomes phase 2 rent to buy and hold, or rent, or whatever it is, or the wholesaling process to where we bring them their property and they purchase it from us. Also, we want to talk about our home buyers. Some of the locations that we would grab some of our home sellers from, I guess you could say. These are going to be distressed sellers that may have just gone through a divorce, sellers who are stuck in a property disagreement with the brothers or someone in the family and have an extra property they don't want it, or someone who maybe got a new job and they want to move out the Midwest or moving to a coast and they just need to get rid of their home. Any of these properties, inherited properties, properties that people don't need to be inside their home, or they need to get out. There's something going on within the family. Elderly people who are looking to move into a retirement home or looking to move down south because they're getting sick of the Midwest, like most of us are, with this weather and winter and everything like that. So let me talk about a little bit the difference between revenue generating and transformational. So Monogenesis will focus more on its transformation market as capital is gained throughout phase 1. Phase 2 and phase 3 is not possible without the wholesaling phase. It's not possible without the community building and relationship building phase, which is phase 1. So I want to talk about some revenue generating and the reason why we're going to be able to continue. We kind of broke it down into a few neighborhoods that will be hot spots, key neighborhoods for us to look into. So on the north side, we have Irving Park, North Park, and Norridge. These are 3 cities that have high income properties, high income families, properties that we're able to gain more capital out of, doing the same process as we would anywhere else. One, just because you live in a high income property does not mean you will be treated differently as someone who lives in a low income property. as we talked about earlier, this is kingdom building, and we're not here to treat anyone better just because you live in a property. We're here to do the same thing. We want to make life easier for others, and that's the reason we created it. Let's talk about the south side. We have Bronzeville and Hyde Park. Now, the difference is with these two cities in the hot markets, they're huge rental markets. In Hyde Park and Bronzeville, everyone rents. I don't want to say everyone, but a lot of people rent. If whoever's lived in the city has known this, that the rental prices can sometimes be a little bit higher, but people are willing to pay for it. It's just where it's at, how it is. And in the south side also, homes are empty. Montress is there to create homes for people who are ready to start families, who want to put a shelter over their kids or grandkids or whatever the situation is. If there's homes there, we need to take advantage of it. People need to realize this and do something about it. Now we talk about a little bit of transformational. Logan was able to speak a lot on that a previous slide I mentioned earlier, the near west side. This is a community that has grown dear to Daryl's heart and our heart as well, regarding our choice on choosing the near west side as a first community. So as I stated earlier, there's 3 phases, but the near west side will be the first one to realize phase 2 and continue on to phase 3. Not saying that other communities won't get any transformation or help from us, but near west side is going to be our target goal. Saying this, I think it's humbling to the fact to know that we can't change the world, we can't change everything, and in generations after us, to change the whole city as a whole. There's 77 neighborhoods in Chicago, and we're focusing on one. That alone is, I think, a task in itself, even though it doesn't seem like much. So I just want to make sure I mention that we do realize that this is a process, but the near west side is where our heart's at and where we want to be working. So that would be described as our transformation.
Our marketing approach is short, same approach at church actually. Go wide and go deep. So what does that mean? It means we go wide by deploying multiple marketing channels, little at a time. So some of those can be direct mail, bandit signs, online advertising for our own website, taking advantage of lead generating sources like 800 Sell Now, using social media, networking, and then eventually in phase 2, beginning in year 3, even adding radio advertising on Christian radio, urban radio, and both conservative and liberal radio as well. Okay, so those are some of the things that we're going to do, just kind of a little bit at a time. Just kind of start. You'll see as the marketing budget. You'll see it starts off this teeny little thing, and it ultimately starts to grow and grow. And like, whoa, it's this huge market. But it's also to help us. We're growing as in order to reach our sales goals as we set them year by year. And that's what we're doing. But going deep, we'll go deep into each one of those channels. We'll start to add more revenue. So, for example, we start in the first quarter of year 1. We're putting out 100 bandit signs a week. By the time we come around to the 4th quarter of year 3, there are 1,500 bandit signs going out in 15 different markets, 1,500 total, 115 different markets by independent contractors that we actually have doing that for us over that time. So that's us going deeper into different markets. And of course, we're going to track and monitor this and watch trends over 3 years, 6 years, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and a year to see what areas are giving us the biggest bang for our buck, what we're spending, where are the leads that are actually converting into sales coming from. And that's where we want to really focus our energy and efforts in. And so, well, just to kind of give you a quick the budget, I'm sorry, I skipped past, but first year marketing budget is $44,000. Second year is $139,000. And then finally in year 3, that's $563,000. So like I said, those markets just continue to grow and grow and grow. And we'll go deep and adjust as need be. So just kind of we touched on community transformation, and we're not going to belabor this point, but I just wanted to really bring it in for just a second. Because we talk about we're an ABCD approach. And what is ABCD? It's asset-based community development. And in short, it operates on the premise that communities can drive the development process themselves by identifying and mobilizing existing but often unrecognized assets, and thereby responding to creating economic activity. And so essentially, what did God say to Moses? What's in your hand? And that's what ABCD says. What's in your hand already? What are those assets you have already? So that you can bring about the transformation from there. And so it's inspired, of course, by the ABC Institute in Northwestern, Toxic Charity, Bob Lupton, another ABCDA advocate, and just kind of going through that process and where you hear us talking about building relationships in the community. It's like, that's no real work, but actually it is. Because before you can do any work, you have to earn the right to do anything else, right? And so we take that time to earn the right to build relationships, and then we'll come around and help the community themselves to coalesce and identify what those assets are, as well as what those felt needs are. What are the things that are most important that they want to address and solve? And so they will craft a plan together collectively once we've earned the right to address those needs. And then, of course, Modern Genesis will own only a component of that plan. And that's the part that we'll focus on. So I know we're running slow on time, so get to this, we just want to meet the neighbors. This was, and we'll talk about this, I guess, at a later date, but this was that we met the piece that actually explains how the whole program works. And so Jason, for example, we won't go through all of them, so we'll just give you Jason. Jason was recently paroled from prison. We actually met Jason at Major Adams Community Center after service at Thrive Covenant Church. He's been unable to find a job due to felonies, but he's really good with his hands. So what we've done is Jason wants to work with us through our apprenticeship program. So we actually matched Jason with Dee's Family Construction. And through Dee's Family Construction, he learns general contracting. And he learns every different component of it. He really takes a liking and he discovers a passion for it. And so now comes here in the third phase, we're actually starting Modern Genesis construction. Jason now manages that. And now he's also recruiting other folks for the apprenticeship program. And also he is speaking at jails about discovering your purpose and turning it into profit. So we have a couple others we want to touch on right now. We have to wrap up. We have Amber, we have Derek and Tanya, and then Taylor. But these are all different transformation models or transformation stories that can give us. Team, like I mentioned, we have a substantial team already that we've built from community partners from Thrive Covenant Church and TLA to other community partners like Live Cafe that's going to help with some life coaching, real estate agents, construction general contractors, and then here are some of our community partners. We want to go, like we mentioned earlier, directly into the community to find other partners that we need to help bring our mission to realization. We talked about job creation, but internally we'll create customer service reps, account managers. We need a program manager as well as a project manager. And then we'll have independent contractors, and then of course, as the business grows, we'll need more employees. Externally, apprenticeships, after they come out of an apprenticeship, they can continue to work for the employer themselves or the teacher they went or the construction guy they went to the apprenticeship with as a couple of different, and they can just decide to work for and build their own business based on it. So just ways that you can do that. So sales and revenue goals, just give it to you real quick. For wholesaling in year 1, 42 properties, 200 led up to 216, and then 60 between years 1 and 3. Fix and flip, which doesn't start until year 3. 6 homes, one also purchased 4 multi-units, and then 4 homes for lease options. The other side, you see the revenue projections. They grow from 210,000 to 3.6 million from wholesaling over that course of that term. Total income and expenses. We have 129,000 in expenses in year 1. The net income of 81,400. Growing to year 3, total expenses 3.16 million. And it really grows because we're also purchasing and flipping houses as well. So those expenses, and we also have full-time salaries as well in there as well. And so a net income of 2.36 million is where that grows to. First year funding. Startup funds for the first 3 months is 15,517. Total first year expenses are 129, not counting the 15 from the startup. So total funds required for the first year of operations is $144,500. And this is our last slide. Just wanted to show this to you all. I actually just found out about this organization last week, and it proves that the concept works. They are based out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, Inner City Christian Federation. My wife had the privilege of sitting on a panel with the president and CEO just last week, and she called and told me about this company. So I said, oh, we need research. And so right now we're actually reaching out and trying to discuss some conversation. Actually, what I'm going to do is just really pick his brain, and if possible, he's actually retiring, so he'll need things to do with his time. So what better else to do than to tutor and mentor modern Genesis? Okay. And that is modern Genesis. Any questions?
I got no list. I'm gonna do it myself. As I love to continue above the students operating continues as co-owners. Are you guys really having a skin in the game, or are you gonna do something with this for long term, or is it just a cool thing to have?
I can explain that. So that is a cool thing to have in plan, but we have talked about this since the beginning of the semester, working into the summer and forward. Coming into this, we talked about where do you see yourself after this, or how much do you really, you guys talked to us about, you really like, are you just going to do this and leave, or are you going to stay there and help? The way I pictured it is, for me, it's a great opportunity for myself to work in the financial state, also with my family being in real estate investment and other accounting needs and resources. Putting two together, Daryl and I have just grown to enjoy this industry and want to work and explore. Saying this, not saying that this will be a final career, possibly. Well, potentially we do see partnerships coming out of this. And that, for the moment, that's the way we're looking at it. Previously, now as well, we do need other members and partners. So as of now, with the partners that we have and with us three, that's where we're at. But we do acknowledge that we will have to hire on others as well.
Yeah, and I'm going to be here for the next 3 years for the MDiv. So I've told Daryl I'm committed to, at least while I'm here, being still in that partnership with him. And I really am proud of the business model that he's chosen, and it's something that I'm passionate about, kind of outside of Thrive. And that was kind of the reason I came here. So yeah, I'm at least committed for that period of time, and we'll see what happens after that, because I have no idea. So there's at least commitment that I'm.
As far as the business model, then, talked about apprenticeships. This is what about the
We feel those are most important. That's how
apprenticeships?
this oversees transformation, but there will be a program manager
How are you going to?
who does day-to-day checking in with they're going to design the curriculum of what this program looks like, because it won't just be on the job, there'll also be in class components as well, what that looks like. We do have some time to develop it, because that'll be in year 3 when we'll actually start that.
And then how are you going to help in technical justification problems developing stuff in people?
Mhm.
And then if you resell your properties to investors,
Mhm.
how are you going to prevent them from exacerbating gentrification?
Okay. And that's why we're not wholesaling in the near west side, near west side. That's exactly
So
why
you're
we're
wholesaling the other neighborhoods, but not from your side.
right.
I like the comparison between how you would treat renters in this community versus the experience out in Naperville. Help me understand how you cost justify something like that.
Well, it doesn't cost that much.
Hmm?
It doesn't cost that much. That's pretty much how you cost justify it. Where we're not, because of the way we have our business model set up, where we have the wholesaling that never stops, and it just continues to grow. And because we have the fix and flips that keep going, we're not so dependent on that rent. And I'm just trying to squeeze every single penny out of it. So I have, because of that, to offer more services. And then also because eventually we're going to bring a lot more services they're going to be in-house. But it is automatically built into the rent. Right. So one is MSM. And they're working with a budget of 5 million, one property every quarter. Across with some investors who maybe only looking to purchase 1 or 2 properties this year. And the properties that we have available, there are to purchase 4 more properties per quarter. And really, to have a sustainable business model, if you find, 10 to 20 of them, they can just buy properties from you all day long.
Follow up to that, you talked about for those people in the rent home that they need community service to bring their rent down. How are you going to fund that? Because your expenses are going to stay the same. And so it's going to end up costing you. Where's that going to come from?
Well, what happens is that, again, everything gets built in already. So what happens is that once we charge them rent, a portion of what they pay in rent actually is going to go back. So maybe our positive cash flow without offering this benefit, maybe on that particular property, it may be $650 a month. And now, because we're going to offer this benefit where a portion of that rent actually goes towards that down payment. So now our positive cash flow on that property is only $300. But again, we're still
And so basically, you're just taking a lower margin.
Exactly.
You mentioned in one of the slides about creating partnerships with your competitors. Explain that a little more.
Okay. So, and this is actually common practice. Wholesalers, every time, so they'll have a property and they don't have an extensive buyers list and they can't sell it. And so, hey, submit this to your buyers list and you can help me sell it. We'll split it 50-50. So now they actually become partners.
Who are or how many competitors do you have in this market?
Honestly, it's really hard to track. I would say at least 50, but it's really hard.
In this zip code?
Well, just the zip code.
Yeah.
I'm talking more like city, county
Yeah.
wide, because that's kind of what our focus is. It's not just this, we're not just focusing.
Good.
We completely understand the questions. It's a lot of information to take in with the vast variety of services that we'd be offering as well. So the questions are completely understandable. I would have a list of questions as well, going from our PowerPoint. So just with that, we should all those questions and any more we would be able to answer just because we didn't get to go through every slide or be able to explain the business plan to you.
A quick one from me. I hear an intentionality surrounding the Near West as part of you all's model. Even further or more specific than that, is there initially a target on particular blocks? Because you brought up Bob Lupton, and I know we're visiting some of the work that they do. Sometimes they just say, man, let's just focus on one block in this community. And then potentially maybe we'll work from that one block and what we're doing here and span out. I don't know if that is part of you all's model. And I ask that question because my heart for the Near West it resonates with you all's heart for the Near West. And certain blocks have a bunch of X's on buildings. And I was just kind of wondering if there's any more specificity to you all's model that focuses on the neighborhood, but even does it start on a more micro level?
As far as the actual location, that's a great point because I look at those X's all the time too. We haven't pinpointed exact, but that has been something that's I've been kind of toying with and talking through with myself. Would it be
Whenever you guys are ready.
This is basic. Okay. First of all, I'd like to just say, there's been a alcohol evolution because when I that my business uh, any kind of work